Okay, hi guys, I am back with the next video with part 2 of the part 1 video about immigration and how not to marry people for papers. I mean, not to marry for, don't break the law, don't do it, just don't go that deep, like, you know what I mean? Like, the thing is, I wanted to really tell people that, because I'm like, I know I'm a big influencer. I may not have views right now or that many subscribers right now, but I'm telling you, there will be that. And it doesn't matter if it happens now, if it happens 10 years. The important thing is that whoever gets this message first, or whoever gets to this message is for you. If you click on this message and you listen and you find interest, this message is for you, from God to you. God gave me this message, and God told me to speak my mind. So I wanted to continue telling you about the guy that I met in Miami, that was immigrant, or basically. And we almost got married, and I almost married him, but luckily I didn't get my citizenship yet. I'm still green card holder. So luckily I didn't fall for it, you know what I mean? Because the good thing about him is that he didn't trick me into marrying him. Even if he heard that I was in love with him, even if he knew that I liked him a lot, he didn't hassle me about it, I guess he felt like he had other options, because he's a muscular guy and he's a hot, beautiful man. I guess he felt like he had options. But what I didn't tell you in the other video is how suddenly, the reason why I wanted to marry him, why I was willing to marry him, was because he came to Los Angeles. Like, every guy that I met from outside of the state, I've never re-met them here in Los Angeles. Never, ever. And for him to be in Los Angeles at this time with me, and even if it's not with me, but he had sent me a message and he was like, I'm in Los Angeles, I'm living here now, I moved to LA. I was like, what? I was like, why would you move to LA? And in my mind, I'm thinking, is he following me? Like, what? Like, this is destiny. You know how they trick you like that. Maybe he was following me. Maybe he was preying on me. Maybe he was thinking like, damn, he didn't find anybody else. And when I was gone, he took too long and he realized I was gone and was like, you should come. Let me go find her in LA. She's my one chance. She's probably, American, or she's probably got papers and I can marry her for papers. This is probably what he was thinking, and he's playing games, right? Oh, I can marry her for papers and da-da-da-da. And I didn't know at first, this was his only option. And when he told me his only option of staying in the United States was for him to have staying in the United States was for him to have papers, I was thinking like, damn, this is destiny. This is the way I can marry him. Like, I love this guy, we can marry each other, not me promising him papers, but that being like a part of, like, not a deal, but a part of the good thing, the good thing. Hey, we can do it and you can become a citizen, but we could also be married, for real. But I wouldn't do it for you to get papers. I would do it for you I wouldn't do it for you to get papers. I would do it because I love you, like, because I did. And I told him, like, I was like, I would do it for love. He was like, I want to do it for he says, yeah, but I don't want to marry for love, because a lot of times, people get crazy in relationships, and then you might be like, oh, I'm not gonna give you your green card, or you're not gonna get your green card, or you're not gonna do it, blah blah blah. And you might, because it happened before with some other guy, and it happened before with some guy. He said that the girl said she would marry him for papers, and all of a sudden the relationship didn't work out, and she was like, you gotta get, no, not the relationship, but something didn't work out, and she was like, you gotta pay me more money than this, you gotta give me more money, and that wasn't the deal. And he was telling me that's what happened. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. And he was like, and I was like, well, if we get married, we will be doing it for love, right? Because I'm thinking like he's in love with me too, because I'm feeling this energy of us, this connection, and for us being together here together, like in the same state, in the same, what I mean? What coincidence we met, everything that we did, it was like, I always felt connected to him, but I didn't feel like a soulmate, like a twin flame connection, but I felt like I really liked him. So, so then from there I was just like, okay, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And I was like, oh my god. So my heart was like, yeah, I'm gonna get married. I need to get married. Like, I've always getting married has always been my dream. It's not even just my dream, but it's something that is important to me. It's something that I've always been looking for the right guy for me, you know what I mean? Like, and I found my right guy. I had already found my twin flame. I already found my twin flame when I was in Vegas. When I left Miami and I left this guy, because me and this guy met in Miami, Florida. And I spoke about it in the other video, but we separated, and when after we separated, I came to Los Angeles, and suddenly he came to Los Angeles too. 3 years later, we reconnect. I find his email. We reconnected. I thought, what a coincidence, we'll reconnect. So when we were talking, he was like, this has been messing with my mind. You know, I gotta find somebody to marry. I gotta go back to my country. He told me everything, and I was thanking God because he told me the truth, you know, because you fall in love, somebody could easily, you know, just make you think that you love them, not tell you what's going on, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, at the same time, it's like you cannot get married for papers without knowing the person, without even studying these person, and just go and set yourself up. You know, you go to jail. You do not want to go to jail. The least the other person, if you're from the country, you go to jail. The least for a long time. The least the other person, if they're a foreigner, the least that can happen to them is get sent back to their country, but not in prison. You know what I mean? So you don't want to go through that. So anyways, I almost married him, and we didn't get married, but we were just talking. I didn't almost marry him. I just agreed to doing it. And I was like, and I want you to be able to get your papers too, you know, but I didn't want it to be like, and this is what I said, but I wrote him on email. I woke up one morning and I was like, you know what, babe, I want to be honest with you. I don't want to marry you for the money. I don't want to marry you for papers. I want to because I don't want to break the law. I want to marry you for love. And if you don't show me that you love me, we're not going to get married. If you don't show me that this connection is real, this is not going to work. Because we had met that day, we had lunch, we had, you know, and everything happened well. And all of a sudden he wasn't texting me anymore. Like, he was like, I'm very busy. If I don't text you, it's because I'm busy and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's like, we need to take it slow. And I was like, okay, we can take it slow. And I'm like, taking it slow is, how slow do you want to take it? We don't really have that much time to be like wasted. Like, if you're talking about marrying me and you're a foreigner and all these things are happening, we need to know each other anyway. You know what I mean? Why don't we get to know each other? And I'm thinking, like, you know, we need to really, like, I was thinking in my head, like, yo, we need to really, like, we need to get to know each other for ourselves. Like, you know, I need to know who this guy is. I need to know what even if I wasn't even ready to talk to him, I still wanted him to text me in the mornings, checking on me. You know what, my twin flame, when we met, he was literally on the street with me. And that is why he's my twin flame, because there is more reasons why he's my twin flame, but that's why I recognize him as my twin flame, because we were both walking the same walk. Our feet crossed, like, the same path. Like, we were both on the street together. Like, if you connect with me and have been on a concrete with me, man, you are my best friend. You are my everything. Like, because you feel my pain, you've seen my suffering, you've seen my feet, I've seen your feet, you've seen my cry, you have seen your cry, you've seen my tears, I've seen your tears, you've seen my dirt, I've seen your dirt. You are mine. And this guy, you know, he's seen my dirt, I didn't see his dirt, and this is how I saw his dirt. And so basically he finally told me, you know, I finally told him, you know what, because I'm always writing him on email. I'm writing everything. I'm all about communication. If there's no communication, this is not happening. So on the letter, I dropped it. I don't care. I was like, I don't care if this messes up his relationship. He doesn't talk to me anymore. I'm just going to tell him. And I was like, if you don't write me back, I'm not going to marry you for money, because I'm not going to marry you to be an immigrant, to get papers. What if you're a terrorist? Like, what if, and I told him all these things. I'm like, no, I will end up telling on you anyway. I'll end up telling on us if that was the case, because I'm not the kind of person that keeps secrets. I'm not a fraud. I'm not into all these things. I'm not. And I'm not about to do these things. You know what I mean? So it's tempting. It's very tempting, because he was telling me how much money it was. I think they said like $20,000. I think they say it was 20 grand. And before I even heard the money, I was like, nah, I don't know if I was just thinking it. I never told him that I would do it for the money, but I was thinking it like if he was, because I was thinking, I was, it's not that I was thinking I would do it, but I was thinking, cause he was telling me, if he was telling me, I want to give you, I don't want to do it, I want to do business. This is business. I want to be able to do love, but I want to make sure the business part is done. And in my head, when I went home, I kept thinking, I don't know about that, but I kept thinking like, but I'll let him buy me a gift maybe, or give it to me as a gift at wedding, but I don't know if I do it for business. Like, I don't know. It was just messing with my head. You know what I mean? The money does that to you. Money kind of makes you get tempted to do certain things, but I wasn't really on that side. And when my friend, one of my so-called best friends, and I'm still questioning that one. I love her, but I don't know. I'll talk to you about her later. But she put me on game, and she was like, yo, I did this. I married this couple for, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I helped them with their papers and everything. And I'll tell you about that. I don't mean to put this girl out. I'm not going to put her name down because it's not my business. It's her story to tell, not mine. But she told me about it. She put me on game. She was like, he paid this girl $20,000. And I was like, what? He was like, that's how much money was involved. And I was thinking, damn, I could do that shit for $20,000. But I was God is real. God is good, because God was like, no. I was like, no, I can't do it. I had to tell her real quick. Right after I said that, I was like, nah, I can't do it. I had to tell her later, like, because I had told her to help me, like, not with, just to help us, like, take pictures, so it would be believable, because he told me they don't believe you when you're black and white and blah blah blah, or black and Spanish, and and not that, even if you're married for love, they still question the interracial relationship. If they're getting married and one is an immigrant or the other is immigrant, or one is not, you know what I mean, they still question those marriages. So I had to make sure I talked to her first, like, well, can you help us take pictures? We don't really have cameras. We don't have, a setup. You can help me, And she was like, yeah, I'll help you. And I love that girl, but I got to talk to her too. But anyway, so finally, the Spirit of God just kept clearing my spirit, just telling me this cannot work. This is not going to happen, And so I wrote him, and I was like, hold on. So I wrote him, and I was like, oh my God. I wrote him, and I was like, oh no, I wrote her, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to marry him. He hasn't texted me. He hasn't written me. He hasn't called me. He texted me once. He texted me back once, and he said, oh, if I don't text you back, it's because I'm busy. And I know that he's hustling, trying to make this money to make it work. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I still need you to ride or die for me, baby. I need you to call me at least one time. If you don't call me at least one time, then you're just using me. At least 3-4 times. Even if at least every weekend, my nigga. Every weekend, at least call me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just be ghosts. Like, you know what I mean? Or and then when I text you, you write me back. You're like, okay, here, email me. And I email you. You don't email me back. And then I'm like, well, don't email me 10 years later saying, hey, I was busy, because that's what he was doing. So I'm like, before he emailed me like 3 months later or 3 years later, or all these things. And I'm like, don't email me later. And I'm like, and so I was like, you know what? If he doesn't text me back after all these things I say, then it's not gonna work. So I wrote him, and I told him, you know what? This relationship is not gonna work. I love you. I care about you. I sent him all my sexy videos, everything, just expressing my emotions for him. And I was like, here, and I told him, this marriage, this is not gonna work because you don't write me, and if you don't write me back, I'm gonna end up exposing this relationship or whatever. 1 second, I'm gonna end up exposing this and blah blah blah. So I was like, you know what? So I wrote him, and he never wrote back. So as I expected, I mean, I thought maybe he would, but then I expected he wouldn't, because I sent him a lot, like long messages. So anyway, so that didn't work out, and I'm glad it didn't work out. But I just wanted to tell you guys, this is a battle out here. I know you hungry. I know you want that moolah. I know you want that money. I know that money is a lot of money, but don't you be tempted in the name of the Lord. Don't you be tempted to even risk your life. I know they say it's a few years in prison. You got to feed your kids. You got to feed. No. I'd rather you go out there and be a stripper. You owe a male stripper, female stripper, but do not do it. Do not risk it. Do not risk it. So I just want to encourage you not to do that. Have a good day.